Now, Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
8:37 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. Brian Wilson, Larry O'Connor on the phone. Our good friend from your Fox network, Bret Baier, of Special Report with Bret Baier. How are you, Bret?
Good morning. Happy New Year.
So we got these new numbers in about the jobless situation, 155,000 jobs added, and they say the unemployment rate remains unchanged at 7.8%. How's that going to play out?
You know, I don't think it changes the equation up on Capitol Hill much. I think the battles still remain the same ahead of what will be this big fight coming up over increasing the debt ceiling, and that's really the next big battleground that we see, in that Republicans want, after the fiscal cliff fiasco that a lot of people are talking about,
right,
the process and how it went down, not by Republicans liking in that conference particularly. They would like to see significant spending cuts or entitlement reform, and I just don't. I think there'll be a loggerhead moment ahead of probably mid-February.
Yeah, so, that's sort of an important point. We've been so focused on all of these negotiations to avoid going over the fiscal cliff, and then, we had this Senate measure that became the House measure that became the law of the land, and a lot of people were saying, well, where are the cuts? Well, that battle ain't over yet.
No, definitely not. In fact, it's not even really started. I mean, the funny thing about Washington is that, cutting is a term that a lot of people think, oh, well, they're going to cut programs. Well, frankly, they just cut the growth, and you cut the growth of spending, the projected growth, and that's considered a cut in Washington.
Yeah. As
opposed to at home when you actually cut things. So I think you're going to have some significant spending cut discussions and some change discussions, entitlement reform, big discussions. But how much can get done and what Republicans can collectively agree on, because that's going to be the key, is that they get on the same page and agree what they want to call for.
Bret Baier is our guest, and Bret, I'm reading here from the Weekly Standard that President Obama is signaling through his administration officials that he's going to go for immigration reform and gun control this month. I mean, he's going to start his second term with those two issues. I don't remember the president really running on those issues for re-election.
No, but after Newtown, Connecticut, it was clear that gun control issue was going to be moved forward. He signaled it numerous times in blunt language in those news conferences, and so you knew that was going to come. As far as immigration reform, while he didn't specifically push it, that had been an underlying thought that he would tell Latino audiences that he felt that he needed to bring up a big piece of comprehensive immigration reform soon, because they thought he had let them down by not pushing that earlier. And he said, it's a matter of time, but we're going to do that. I think both of those are obviously major hot-button topics that are going to dominate and suck up a lot of oxygen in Washington. On the debate.
Yeah, I mean, from a conservative perspective, I think we would call those wedge issues. I mean, if anybody was hoping that we'd have a conciliatory second term of the president working with the Republicans, I think that those two issues would really throw that out the window. It's like a Republican coming into the White House and saying, okay, I'm going to start January off hitting abortion and gay marriage. That's really tantamount to that.
Well, it also signals that the president feels emboldened. He feels like he has the wind behind his back, and feels like he has public support, and I think that's the MO that you're going to see, that he'll go around the country and build that grassroots support, as we've seen him do, and then go forward to Capitol Hill and put the pressure from the outside in.
We yesterday we saw the re-election of Speaker Boehner and Nancy Pelosi to their respective positions. There was a little drama there, but it all worked out well for Boehner and Pelosi, I suppose. Today, the Congress does something required by the Constitution, which is they're basically going to certify the last election.
That's right. And this is the official certification of the election and the official acknowledgement of all of those votes. A lot of it's ceremonial in the big picture, but it's crucial. It's all part of the plan. And yesterday's vote, for all of the talk about how Boehner might lose, he only lost 9 votes. Pelosi lost 19 last time around for Speaker. There was a lot of angst. We were counting at least 20 Republicans who said they might vote against Boehner. But again, only 9 eventually did.
Yeah, 20 was the number that we kept seeing as well from various reports. Do you have any insight into what happened there?
No. Why they didn't?
Yes.
Perhaps they looked around the room and saw others were not doing it.
No.
You have to get to the second ballot. You needed 17 votes to get to a second ballot, and once you got to a second ballot, anything could happen, and then you could have really anybody winning Speaker. And
so Congress really is like high school. It was peer pressure.
It may have been.
None of the cool kids were doing it.
It may have been a little bit of that.
All right, Bret. And so now looking forward, I think we're all interested in how this spending debate is going to shake out. Considering what happened with the Speaker, is he weakened now, or do you think that his new plan of not sitting down one-on-one with the president is going to actually be more effective for him?
Yeah, now that's the great point, and the $64,000 question, because really in a normal order of business, that's how you'd love Congress to work, is that there are actually hearings. Remember hearings, Brian?
Right.
Yeah,
where
the old-fashioned way. Right. Yeah.
Markups, and people actually voted on things.
Legislation, I think, is what they call it.
That's just not happened recently, and so for him to say that there will not be one-on-one discussions with President Obama is an interesting move, and we'll see if Mitch McConnell then becomes point man of the discussions behind closed doors.
You excited about the Redskins?
Yes, can't wait. I'm from Atlanta, so I'm a little torn.
Oh.
But I'm a definite Redskins fan.
Well, Bret, I mean, it seemed like during the game that, like, the entire on-air staff of Fox News was up there around Dan Snyder's box.
That's right.
I saw Britt and Kim Hume in one box. I saw Chris Wallace in another. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we're all big
Where were you
fans.
sitting? I didn't see you there.
No, I was out of town. I was on my way back from Florida. But
right.
See, Bret's got kids. I feel your pain, Bret. I don't think I've seen a football game in years.
I'm going this weekend, though.
Oh, you
Well,
are?
cool.
All right, well,
which box will you be sitting in?
We'll see.
Well, I'll be watching. Hey,
right.
Bret, thanks a lot. Happy New Year to you.
We'll see you. You too.